Hello and welcome to my newest video. Now for this video I'm taking a first look at Ethergoo, and I'm quite late to the party because it has already been covered by a lot of media outlets, or at least some decent media outlets in the crypto gaming space. This time I'm doing a video because I'm really interested in the game. It had some decent Ethereum transaction volume recently. Actually it still has some rather large daily active player base, daily active user base, according to Ethereum, the Ethereum dApps list on DappRadar. So you can check it out here. You have Ethergoo at it was actually around 4,000 daily active users. Now it has been down to 825. But I guess it will always go up and down again, especially when the developers introduce new updates to the game. And transaction volume has also been quite nice comparatively. So around 200 Ethereum. I think the last 7 days was a little bit more than 150. The last time I checked. Also decent amount of transaction volume the last 24 hours, which is always nice, and a decent balance in the current smart contract. Now, what the game basically is, it's an addictive crypto idle game. For those of you who don't know what an idle game is, well, I don't really have a decent comparison to any kind of game that is not run on the blockchain. I'm pretty sure there are other ones, so maybe someone can leave a comment below and provide a decent comparison to a non-cryptocurrency game. But it's basically, as the word idle already implies, a game where you don't really spend active time playing it other than preparing the different kind of features that are set in the game and that you can control. But other than that, it's kind of an idle game in the sense that you just let time pass by, and you just wait for the results to happen. So basically, as you can see, I earned Ethereum by playing the first competitive idle game. It's powered by Goo, and Goo is their own in-game currency. Basically, it's a stealable ERC20 token. As you know, most of the crypto games out now, they use their own ERC20 token on the Ethereum blockchain. It's a fun gameplay secured in a smart contract. What are you waiting for? Goo awaits. Now the basic tutorial is really basic because compared to the complexity of the game, it's relatively simple. So again, this is kind of one of these games where basically learning it is quite easy and getting into the game is quite easy, but mastering it is much more difficult because you have to understand all these different complexities and how they interact with each other, and the dependencies as well. Now, buy scientists and upgrades to increase your Goo production, earn dividends from the pot based on your production percentage globally. So I think, as far understood, the main way to earn money here is by to make money, or to make Ethereum to increase the Ethereum you hold, is by earning these dividends based on the total amount of production in percentage global. But you can also sell the assets that you already purchased at an earlier date for a higher price later down the line, basically due to the value increase and all these other factors that determine the value of your digital assets. Now, all scientists can be sold for 75% of their Ethereum or Goo buy price. You can spend your Goo in the barracks to attack other players. This is also quite interesting component, so you can, I think, steal Goo from other people, as far as I understood, if you're strong enough. I don't know how this works exactly. Finally, the raffle allows you to win Ethereum by spending Goo on tickets. Now, let me just quickly go into the game actually. And you can also buy, you can actually make lifetime dividends by referring other players, which is always nice. So basically, if you take this link and you post it, and if I do that right now and I post the link and someone else clicks it and joins the game, I earn 1% of all the Ethereum that he spends on the game, as long as he plays the game. Basically, that's how far as I understood it. Well, the cost in general is free, so you only have to pay the gas price and the money you invest, basically. Intern Kitty produces 0.2 Goo. You can get it right now, doesn't cost anything. Let me just quickly click on the game. So as you can see, I'm not really logged into my MetaMask, so I can't really show you any more information right now, other than you have these EtherCats, for example. So you have their name, how much Goo it makes basically, and the cost when you buy it the first time. So it kind of multiplies by the amount of different EtherCats you want to purchase. Obviously. Now you have these different kind of animals. It has this really nice graphic style and unique humor to it, which I really appreciate. I think a lot of games fail to do so, and I think Ethergoo is doing it really well. So you have these, maybe that's an Ether Goose, I don't know. Ether Penguin, and based on their price, they make more, well, they produce higher goo amounts. So again, the more money you invest or the more Ethereum you invest, the higher return on investment, obviously, but you also have to make sure that you can sell them later down the line for a higher price, or at least the same price, give or take, plus minus the amount you actually make by producing the goo and then selling it. That's how far as I understood it. So basically, the more goo you hold, the more the more, no, how does it work? So basically, yeah, the more goo you hold, the higher percentage of dividends you receive in Ethereum, which is always nice. Or maybe you just get a decent amount of goo and you can trade, or you can kind of exchange goo back to Ethereum. I don't know how it works exactly. Again, goo is their in-game currency, their ERC20 token. So you guess you always have to exchange it back to Ethereum to trade it into fiat currency if that is your goal. Game tutorial, well, I already read through that. So you have the raffle right now, which is also nice because it kind of facilitates the cooperation with other crypto games out now. So right now they're doing a cooperation with I think I always say corporation. I mean cooperation. I'm sorry. With Etherbots, so you can actually win the gold freeze ray for Etherbots if you invest in to these tickets, and I think that just works like a lottery. So basically, the higher the amount of tickets you buy, and these always cost goo, the higher chance you have to win this gold freeze ray. So it's a nice addition. Obviously, I think it's going to be, well, it's worth 1.4 Ethereum, I guess. Is that Ethereum cost? Ethereum price. So obviously, the amount you spend might even out to the price you get, and obviously it's a lottery. The more people play, the lower the chance that you actually win it. I don't know if there's only one prize, or maybe there's 10 of these gold freeze rays. I don't know how the raffle is going to work exactly, but this is one part of the kind of, it's a mini game in the actual game. You have a rare unit raffle. I'm sorry, a rare unit raffle. So you can get these ether dogs, I guess that's what it is. That makes 600 goo, and ticket costs around 1,000 goo. Don't know how that evens out exactly. And you also have a goo deposit bot. Again, I can't really check this out too much because I'm not logged in right now into my MetaMask. Maybe I'm going to do that later down the line to get a better understanding of it. You can actually switch to barracks. Well, I can't do that either if I'm not logged in. Maybe we're just going to do that right now. Can I actually do that? Wait a moment, I actually can. Oh, that's the wrong one. So let me just quickly check. As you can see here, that gives you a much better understanding of how the game works. So you have these base production that you can add as an not as an update, but more of a like a additional upgrade, so to speak. So you have these, I don't know how they are called, so these different levels for intern kitties, and they add the base production value as well. So the more of them you buy, so you can have 10 of these two. So bronze and silver, and gold you can have only 4. And the more of them you buy, the higher the production of goo you will get. So right now you have a global goo production of 2.3 billion and a total research pot of 216. Is that Ethereum, or is it still goo? I don't know how this is differentiated. You currently have 0 goo because I haven't invested with this MetaMask account. Your lab produces 0 goos, roughly around Nuna. Until you will earn of today. So basically on a daily basis in 24 hours you get the dividends of the total amount of goo production globally. Yeah, as I said before, so you can get these intern kitties. They are free, so you can actually, I guess, max them out if you only pay the gas price for the transaction. You can get these other animals. I don't know what this one is and why it's not free. Maybe you can't really get them anymore. You can get lab rats, and obviously they kind of have different stats attached to them. So you have the intern kitty, which only makes around 0.2 goo, that produces only 0.2, and the lab rat produces 10 goo each. So if you buy 10, it costs you 1.0 Ethereum, I guess. But you make 100 goo. I guess that's on a daily basis, so that's 100 goo a day. but you can also again add these other ones. Maybe they're not out yet and they're just being set up. I don't know how. Maybe someone in the comments below can shed some light on how this works exactly and how it's being set up. I know that there are a lot of people who already play the game, and I'm really interested in how it works, because most of the time I don't really like to invest into a game that I don't fully understand. And generally I'm a little bit slow when it comes to understanding these kind of comparatively complex games. At least that's just me. That's just me being a little bit slow sometimes. Anyway, check it out yourself. I'm going to post a link to ethergoo.io in the video description, so you can get a feel for the game. You can enter immediately. You don't have to wait for anything. The game's already out, which is always quite nice, because comparatively a lot of other games, they just try to promise you something and they never deliver, or they deliver a lot later down the line. Other than that, please don't take this video as financial advice. As I always say, please only invest as much Ethereum as you can afford to lose for your Goo production, and do your own due diligence on the game. I'm going to post a link to the Discord and or the Telegram, if they have any, in the video description. You can check it out yourself. I also talked to the developer, really nice guy, really appreciative of the community, and he does a great job in my opinion of creating these kind of unique style gameplay features. Other than that, again, hope you liked the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.